Hello, I'm Adewumi Sonibare. This is Hullfire TV Culture segment. One word to describe Black History Month.
Respect.
One word to sum up Black History Month.
Amazing.
Memories.
I would say inspiring.
Empowerment.
Power. Yeah, power.
Pride.
Freedom!
It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. Black History Month teaches me about courage. It's about celebrating the achievements of people in the past and also in the present that have contributed to our society today. So people like Frederick Douglass, Nelson Mandela, Ben Carson. It's about celebration, basically, celebration of freedom. Black History Month was first proposed in 1926 by Carter G. Woodson as Negro History Week in America to celebrate the births of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. It took 50 years for the US government to recognize it and expand it to an entire month. Black history is now celebrated worldwide, but the experience is different in every country. Hull University Afro Caribbean Society, also known as ACS, is a society that promotes African and Caribbean culture to everyone. They are dedicated in celebrating all aspects of African and Caribbean culture to everyone of different colours. The Afro Caribbean Society celebrated Black History Month through a showcase that commemorates Black history. A lot of students showcase their talents through dance, music, spoken words and drama to demonstrate Black history journey through time.
My name is Augusto Sonobanjo, and I manage Best of Charity in Hull.
How would you describe the culture in Hull?
Culture in Hull over 10 years is very diverse now. And in the last 10 years, we've seen lots of migration between 5% to 10% in Hull. That's massive growth of different community groups living in Hull. And that's a massive achievement of diversity of number of different people living in Hull.
And what is Black History Month to you?
Black History Month is celebrated worldwide. It's the time that we reflect on achievements of Black people all over the country. And in Hull, it's being celebrated in the month of October, if I put it that way.
One word to sum up Black History Month.
Union.
Hello and welcome to Film Issues, where you, an audience member, can come on and talk about any issue you have with a film. I'm your host, Barnaby Falk, and this is our guest, John Dobson.
Hello, my name is John Dobson. I'm studying British Politics and Legislative Studies, and I've previously done film at ALA.
So, what have you come to talk to us about today?
Well, the issue I have specifically is with Brokeback Mountain, but as a wider issue, I have an issue with representation of gays in cinema.
Okay, so you mentioned Brokeback Mountain.
Yes.
What is your issue with the film?
My issue with the film is its representation of gays and gay life. It's a retrogressive step from the progressive movies such as Cabaret, which showed homosexuals as sort of actual people. And Brokeback Mountain displayed how gay life was not necessarily integrated with the norms, how it was outside of what is acceptable and how it can only function outside and away from society. And I feel that it's a misrepresentation. And for a film made in the early 2000s, I feel like it does a lot of harm when it could have been a great force for good. It also harks back to the days when gays in cinema would often be killed at the end of the film because they shouldn't be allowed to live. It sort of harks back to that old 1970s, 60s sort of image of gays as being abnormal and it being perfectly acceptable to watch them die.
So you mentioned films from the 60s and 70s. Do you think we've progressed at all since then, or is it still stuck in that image?
We definitely have progressed. I mean, films such as Cruising in the 60s, where gay men were sort of actively being killed on screen and they were seen as abnormal. In fact, it was about a man who went around killing gays, and it was. People applauded that film, they found it wonderful. And we've definitely progressed because we now have films like Pride, which celebrates the triumphs of gay life. Lesbians and gays support the miners, who are a particularly active group in assisting the miners in their struggle against Thatcher in the 80s. And we are now able to celebrate gay life and gay individuals. Alan Turing's sort of autobiographical film, The Imitation Game, recently came out. Although there are some issues with it and how it portrays him, I do feel that it's good. We can now look up to our gay heroes and we can sort of applaud what they have achieved and what they have done for, not just for the gays, but also for the heterosexuals in this world.
So Brokeback Mountain was released in the early 2000s, mid-2000s. How far do you think gay cinema has advanced since then?
I think it's advanced hugely. I think Brokeback Mountain was a retrogressive step in that there had been films previously that had celebrated gay life and that had brought it out of the shadows. I forget the name of the film, but there's a film that springs to mind that came out in 1993 about a lawyer with AIDS and how his partner looked after him and sort of did everything for him. There was also a film, Making Love, I think in 1883, I believe, which also celebrated gay life. It was a sort of local expression of how gay men are just as like normal men. They just happen to like other men. So I think Brokeback Mountain was a retrogressive step in that respect. But I think since then, gay cinema has been very progressive. We've had Pride, we've had The Imitation Game, we've had more comical films like GBF, which sort of stereotypes and it's very funny. And it makes it a light-hearted issue, but it's at least it's gay cinema, which is good.
What about essential gay films?
Milk has to be up there. Milk is a very, very wonderful film. I like Milk a lot. I also highly recommend Pride. It is very good. It's comical, but it also has a serious message. And it is a history of a time in gay life when things were difficult, but despite those difficulties we were able to rise to the challenge. And I'm also looking forward to, I think it's this film Stonewall Riots. It's coming up. There's been a lot of controversy about it, but it'll be interesting to see how it does come out, and hopefully it will be better than it is. Hopefully it will be a better film than many people believe it will be.
Thank you, John. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
If you have any issues that you'd like to discuss on film issues, then don't be afraid to send me a message on Facebook at Barnaby Falk or send me an email at barnabyfalk@gmail.com. Thank you very much.